my name is Dawid Beck, and here I am with beautiful Kara Kim, and we are both diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And we're having this kind of talk show called Bipolar People Share Their Lives. And today we are going to be focusing on bipolar careers. So, Kara Kim, would you like to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. Yes, I'm here, Kara from Toronto, Canada. You can see the flag right over there. Yes. So, yeah, we're going to talk about, our occupation, kind of career today. So I'm sure a lot of people might be interested. Hopefully we can share and also, help other people in a way.
Definitely. So, Kara, let's start off with this question maybe.
Sure.
What kind of career did you have before having bipolar disorder?
Right. Actually, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder like right after, I mean, not right after, but a year after I finished university, like graduation from the university. So I couldn't really say it was a like career, but I did actually work as an instructor, English instructor in South Korea because I went back to South Korea after I finished university. So I was, teaching English conversation to different kind of groups of people and, individuals for about a year. And then I was diagnosed with the bipolar disorder in South Korea for the first time. So that's what happened to me. How about you, David?
In my case, I was quite young when I was first diagnosed. I was 17
Mm,
years old. And before that, I did some motivational coaching during every
mm,
vacation period for a company called Adam Crew Learning Technologies. I don't know if you guys heard of
mm,
that, but yeah, every time it was vacation period, I would go there during and help out, motivate some students within
mm.
a big group of students of around 100 people, and I would
Wow.
be responsible for like let's say 7, 8 students, and I'll teach
Mm-hmm.
them study techniques, success principles, and other things that are important in life, maybe some time management as well. So that's basically what I did. It wasn't much, but yeah,
Mm.
that's what I did. But like, what did you do? What kind of career did you have after, let's say, having bipolar disorder?
Right. Actually, my career, I guess, it did change a bit, but, not because I had bipolar disorder, because, I had like another opportunity, to expand my career in a different field. Frankly speaking, one of my former students, actually, I met her, I just bumped into her actually at a cafe in, Gangnam area, in South
Uh,
Korea. And I was offered a position at a marketing agency. But it was, usually in South Korea, there are many, different small size marketing, company, but this one was pretty big, and they had like different fields, customer service and also an event or PR, many different fields. And it was actually the number of employees were about like 60 people. So it was like huge agency actually, but I was working at a PR team. So dealing with, reporters and, marketing, programs and, sites. So that did really change. But
mm,
like, if you ask me how it did change, not because of bipolar disorder at that time, but just, different job opportunities that I ran into, right? But I am thinking maybe bipolar disorder could affect in a way.
yeah,
Only one thing is because, when I'm like hospitalized for the first time
yeah.
or like the second time or whatever, then I kind of have to change to different job. So that was the only part, I guess,
Let's see.
in that sense, I guess. But you are more like, students, so it might be a little bit different for you, David, right?
Yeah, I didn't get to work full time really, and I did have stints where I worked part time, but
Mm-hmm.
full time I haven't had the opportunity to do so yet. But most of my part time jobs would would be English teaching jobs, I would say.
Mm,
And I taught in hagwons. I taught in camp. Hagwons is
mm.
Korean for Korean academies.
Academies, right?
I taught
Institutes.
in
Mm,
camps, but most of the time I would teach one-on-one English speaking, mostly.
mm,
I teach some grammar and writing as
mm.
well. The other job I had would be life coaching, and there I
Yes.
connected my other skills as well. Right now, I'm going to seminary, so I could do some Christian life coaching, and I'm also, very involved with mental health recovery, and therefore I could do more of mental health coaching.
Mm,
So currently, I'm doing that. I'm doing a variety of different kinds of coaching. I'm connecting it
mm,
with other passions and interests and skills that I have. Uh, to make my coaching a broader scope, I would say. So
mm,
yeah, that's what I'm currently doing right now. But you're talking briefly about how bipolar disorder like kind of affected your career. But I'd like to go kind of deeper into it, asking
hmm.
two more questions regarding that. And that would
Sure.
be like, first of all, how has bipolar disorder kind of helped you in your career? And secondly, if you mind answering, how has bipolar disorder um, made it difficult for you to, let's say, maintain your career?
Mm. Okay. Firstly, you're asking how has bipolar disorder helped me, in my career. But you said it did affect, but like I said, I don't think being diagnosed with bipolar disorder and being a bipolar patient, really, I don't think it, because of bipolar disorder, I don't think it like affected my career or job in a sense, what kind of you picked it out. I'm thinking the only thing is because, like when I am hospitalized, I just mentioned, a few minutes ago. So when I'm hospitalized, then, being discharged, right? After being discharged from the hospital, I had to change my job. So I would say, bipolar disorder actually, having the symptoms, I don't think it did affect my career, but just being, after coming out of a hospital, the reason and I have to change the job afterwards. Maybe I might have to pick a different job or I might have to change to a different company. That is kind of, what affected in a way. You know what I'm getting at, right? So you also asked me, how bipolar disorder, kind of helped me in my career in a way. I can't say, like I said, just, I'm talking about not exactly the symptoms did affect, but it helped me a lot in a way because I had to look for a different job. And, in the course of doing that, like most of doctors mention, a lot of psychiatrists say, being a bipolar patient can actually give you many opportunities, right? And they're very talented. And a lot of people who are actually smart and intelligent and, being very, very, like like Winston Churchill, we talked about the last time, right?
Yeah,
Those, famous like actors and actresses and those like celebrities, they do have bipolar disorder and how they are so, famous and, and actually they've done a lot of good things, while being a bipolar patient. So that kind of says some, good sentiments and some positive things in a way. So I guess in that sense, it could help us a lot. And actually, maybe in that sense, it really did help me in a way too, because
mm,
like, you being a, kind of life coach and me being a life coach and a motivational speaker, actually, being a bipolar patient did help us in a way,
yeah.
I'd say, so that was kind of positive effect, positive things that did help for us. And, another way, you asked for about difficult part of maintaining, my career while being
Yeah.
a bipolar patient. So, actually for me, the most difficult part of being a bipolar patient was, like I mentioned before, having a, side effects from the medication.
Right,
Yeah, frankly speaking,
exactly.
yes, that was the worst part for me,
Mm,
right? So other than that, like I didn't really have much of like negativity in a way. That was the only kind of part. And luckily, because I don't really have like depressing moments, episodes, like
Yeah.
unlike you in a way, or unlike other patients. So for me, I guess I was kind of lucky in a way that I only have like manic state, manic parts when it comes to
Yeah.
becoming, and also like in that sense, like going kind of hyperactive in a way, but don't really have like depressing or depression. So that would really give me a good opportunity in a way, I
I
say.
see.
Mm. So what about you? Like you're a little bit different than I am, right?
Yeah.
So
So, in terms of the benefits that I received from being bipolar, I would say it has it has made me a lot more creative. Like I
good.
think I talked about it in the previous episode, where when I experience a range of emotions from
Hmm.
one high end and one low end, and I also have a lot of different like very experiences that come with those emotions.
Right.
I feel like I'm able to become more creative.
Hmm.
And like I said, I'm able to connect more things together, whether it's like
Mm.
mental health and faith with life coaching, or connecting that with YouTube and connecting that with writing a book. Like
Hmm.
I try to connect things as much as possible, like especially after having my bipolar disorder. So I try to be more creative in that aspect, and it also be having these experiences where I had my really difficult lows, and even the highs were very difficult because I would be hospitalized, and I it was a lot of hardship. Like I was beaten in the hospitals, and when I was in
Really?
yeah, when I was depressed, I you know a lot of people
Wow.
have very dark thoughts, right? So
Mm.
therefore I was able to have more compassion, I would say.
Mm.
And that uh was that helped me a lot when it comes to counseling, or when it comes to trying to understand other people and trying to sympathize with them, have compassion towards them. And that's why I would say in that sense, bipolar disorder was helpful in my little career I had.
Mm.
Anyways, but what was more difficult was whenever I got hospitalized. You talked about the side effects of the medication, but also
Right.
side effects from having depression itself. I It
Mm.
affected my cognition a lot. So
Mm.
I couldn't think properly. I couldn't study properly. I couldn't talk properly. So
Mm.
that was very hindering. Unlike
Mm.
you, like uh, the depression and the depression really made me unstable in a way, and
Mm.
it it hindered my abilities, I'd say.
Yes,
So I had to kind of get out of the depression in order
I know.
to
Mm.
get back to get things back to normal, I'd say. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So
I think, I guess like, when we talk about that part, I just have to say I'm really lucky in a way
yeah.
because I don't have that kind of moments. But I think most of
Mhm.
us who are, bipolar patients, they do go through a lot of hardships and
Yeah.
difficulties when they're depressed. That is the kind of the main
Right.
difficulties for people. So I think you can share. I mean not only today, but like from what we will be talking about from this YouTube episode, that how you kind of help yourself and helped other people in a way to get out of that kind of moment. We could share
Right.
more, and other people, when they like listen to us, they would kind of have to mirror themselves, and I
Mm.
hope we can, be of help for other people in that sense. Would be
Mm.
nice that way. Mm.
I see. I understand.
Mm.
What I also was wondering about is usually when it comes to people with bipolar disorder, um, one of our mentors, Mr. Cole, who is the
Hmm.
father of the YouTube father of the
to
the creator
bipolar.
of the YouTube channel,
Mm,
which is the Korean version of this YouTube channel. Actually,
mhm.
the father of the Korean version of this YouTube channel actually said that we should have like plan A, we should have plan B, and we should have plan
Mm,
C because um, our bipolar disorder might hinder or it might affect our different plans that we make for ourselves. So I was wondering
right.
whether you had like a plan A, plan B, plan C. So maybe when you were not bipolar when you didn't have
Mm,
bipolar disorder, maybe you had plan A and
mhm,
maybe afterwards you had plan B and after just as a safety you had a plan C. So could you
mhm.
talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Actually, I'm pretty confident about what I'm doing right now, luckily, right? Because, it comes with age, it comes with experience.
Right, right.
Yeah, but that part. But I still do have like, plans A and B and C. I think it's because not only Mr. Ko mentions about that, but I think a lot of, people, when they're not really sure of what they want to do, I guess they go through, many difficult fields, many difficult steps. So for me, in a way, when I was younger, when I was having, maybe less experience than I have now, I did have, many different plans. But right now I do have like, plans A and B, but it's kind of confidential too, right? In a way. So I can't really go into like details, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but I think I advise people not only being a bipolar patient, but like you being a life coach, I'm being a life coach, we kind of talk about people, how they should really try to find what they are good at, right? Their
Yes.
talents,
Yes.
their positivity, and what they want to do in their lives. So frankly speaking, I want to tell other people that they should really try to find out what they're good at first, but and also what their interests are, and they should try to kind of put that together into their plans. So, how, Korean people, in a way, I say, I mean, this is kind of an episode for people who are, non-Koreans too. They can say that too, but mostly, maybe second generation or third generation Koreans living abroad, they would say, they're really their parents and, I mean, even people, Koreans say they'll go, oh, doctors, lawyers and accountants,
Right, right.
something that, would be professional, they think. But,
Yeah.
actually to speak frankly, I'd say after Corona, after COVID-19, I think a lot of things have changed. And, a
Mm,
lot of
yeah.
technological stuff came kind of closer to us.
Right.
So, like, to tell other people, not only, being a bipolar patient, but for normally, I think they should try to find out what they want to do and what they're good at and try to combine them and try to find and develop what they really want to do and
Yeah.
also making money by doing that,
Right.
right? So yeah, I would want to advise people to do that first.
Right.
And that's what I want to do, and that's what I've done in a way, right? So that's why I kind of have like, plan A. And if that doesn't work, actually for you and for me, say we would like the least part, say we somehow didn't work out as we planned, and we can always teach English conversation to people,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
We have
And that
backup
can be a
plans,
good,
right?
yeah, that can be a good thing too, because you can share, what you know and what you're good at with other people. And I think a lot of people say, oh, I mean, English conversation instructor can just be, anything. But I would say it's a really important job too. And
Yeah.
it's a good thing for other people because, like we said, we can interact with each other. Mm. So what about you? Do you always have like plans? Or are
Yeah,
you kind of person who plans a
I,
lot?
I think it's really important
Mm.
to share the specifics. My plan A would be like motivational trainer. I told you that
Good.
I wanted, I worked at a motivational company, and my
Right.
dream was to be like my boss, who was like this
Oh, good.
very inspiring man who had many
Mm.
businesses, and he's doing a lot of different activities to make money and motivate people to do work hard in academics and also help with like wealth creation and building as well. My
Right.
second plan would be being a pastor, which I got a calling for in the
Mm,
mental hospital. Actually, I got a calling.
very good.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Um, and the third plan C would be mental health coaching and Christian coaching, which
Mm,
came along later after that. So that was my third kind of potential career I could pursue. And the
right.
thing is, uh, back to talking about Mr. Cole, our mentor, and he's also a missionary, but
Mm,
he told me that I should have a lot of options available.
true.
I should not only try to pursue plan A or just focus too much on plan B, but he also said that I should try to focus like on plan if I can like do a lot of things at once because uh in in our generation or in our era, like it's important to do not only one thing, but be able to, focus on a lot of things at once.
Right. Like,
Yeah, therefore, yeah, right
multiplayer.
now, what I'm planning on doing is doing more than just following a single plan, I would say.
Right.
I try
Mm,
to not only be a pastor, but also, pursue these other types of coaching as well on the side.
good.
And sometimes, let's say my pastoring job will go well and I could
Mm-hmm.
really focus a bit more on that. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes maybe like I might not have many people in a congregation, then
Mm-hmm.
I might have to focus a little bit more on being a coach or an author or a YouTuber or something like that.
Right.
And therefore, that's why I think having a lot of plans and having a lot of options available also it helps with trying to have diversity, and it also helps with not being too bored and not being too being too bored with pursuing just one thing as well.
Right.
So I think
Mm,
that's why I these having a plan ABC is really
right.
important. Yeah.
Mm.
So um
Yeah.
I'd also like to ask you, what kind of advice do you have for people searching for a career who is bipolar?
Well, like, I think it's kind of repetitive, but like I say, not only like, have people who are like bipolar patients or
Yeah,
bipolar,
yeah,
disorder, but for just in general, like I just said, they should really try to kind of focus what they want to do, number one. But
yeah.
number two, also what they're good at, because what you want to do can sometimes be different from what you're good at,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Right, right. So I think, trying to level those two and balancing are really important to say. Because you and I, we went through a lot. Because
yeah,
we went different, steps, and we went different things. And, you were in hospital and I was in hospital, and we had to, focus, and we had to go through a lot of different things.
yeah,
So, I mean, the reason you and I are, making this time to having this kind of episode and, YouTube program is to help people, for those people who don't have to go through what we went through, right?
yeah.
That's what we're actually doing this whole thing. So I would say try to really find out what they really are good at, plus what they want to do, and try to kind of, maintain,
Right.
those things, and trying to not to be too many up and down, right? Too ups and downs. That's the thing, like, too extreme. That's why bipolar disorder can be sometimes really manic or sometimes really depressed. So I think they have to really know, and they also have to learn how to not to be too extreme, and how to really follow those steps of,
Right.
trying to be normal, right? I
Right.
think that's really important. Mm. But I have a question for you too,
Yeah.
I know you are doing, many things, which is good. And
Yeah.
also you are being a student. So
Yeah.
that has, I'm sure sometimes that gives you a lot of stress too. Because I
Um,
remember when I was a student, right?
yeah.
I mean, it does happen.
Yeah.
So, but we have to be really careful with the stress. being
Yeah.
bipolar
Right.
patient. So you have to know how to, learn to deal with it too. But
Yeah.
so far, what are you most proud of, from what you've done so far? I know you've written many books, and I'm proud of you for doing that. But like, what about, and also what do you think is your biggest achievement, among those?
That's actually a tough question because I've done a lot of different things and I've pursued a
Right.
lot of different projects. But
Mm-hmm.
mine is quite simple. I would say my my graduation in 10 years.
Mm,
Uh graduating university in 10 years, it was many times it was very tough. Like when I was depressed, I could only take like four or
mm,
five credits and I still had a hard time. And I got a lot of support. I got a lot of help. I like my
good.
professors understood me, but going through that journey of even just getting through undergrad, that was
Mm,
like the it's quite difficult, and because at the time my bipolar disorder was much more severe than it was right now, and getting through that despite my health issues was my
right.
biggest
No, but I think it's a good thing. It doesn't matter, even it took like, say 9 or 10 years, you
yeah
did finish and you are progressing. I think that can be a really good example and hope for other people who
uh,
are like us, bipolar
yeah
patients.
for like
Yeah, so
persisting and not giving up. I think that's what
exactly.
it kind of signified,
That is really important, I think,
and
and that can
that
be a
kind
really
of
good
led
experience.
to like having perseverance for other things as well. After undergrad, now I'm in you know towards Trinity University, which is a theology graduate school, and I'm able to
Right.
uh use what I learned in the past, like when I was doing
Hmm.
undergrad, and persevere and
Right.
study hard and
Hmm.
uh make the most out of my
Hmm.
situation with the knowledge I learn as well. So how about you?
Yes.
What was your like in terms of career, let's say,
Right.
what was
Okay,
your like
like
biggest
luckily,
yeah,
well, I did have some, kind of like moments that I had to be in hospital and out of hospital, so I had to change jobs. Of
yeah,
course, at the time, but overall, I was really lucky. I've done all what I wanted to do, being, as actually different occupations and different jobs. I did
right,
try what I wanted to do because in the beginning, I was actually when I was really young, I wanted to become a, anchor woman at a broadcasting.
right,
But I had the chance to work, as a reporter at Arirang TV, in
yeah,
South Korea,
right,
the English channel. So like that, like I did try everything I wanted to do in terms of career. So
yeah,
I went through all that and like I now know what I want to do and that I didn't really, pursue what I plan to do. But I did have a chance to kind of taste everything.
yeah,
So in that sense, I was pretty lucky. And like the same question I asked you, right? What I'm most proud of and
yeah,
what my biggest achievement is,
yeah,
I would say I'm proud that I established my own company,
yeah,
like life coaching company, right? Yes, I have that company now in South. I did work a little bit in South Korea, but I established that company and registered as a business license in here, Toronto, Canada. So
yeah,
I'm pursuing that career. So I'm proud of that, and like is I am a certified master life coach. So
yeah,
that is a good title that I could have, and also that I have my own company. And I'd say that is the biggest achievement so far,
yeah.
and not because I had other jobs too, but the reason I'm choosing this one is because that's what I really really want to do, and I now know what I want to do for the rest of my life, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's a good thing. And for you, I think you're really talented. So I think that is also a good sense and good thing for you that you are going through different steps of life, and I mean, like in your case.
Yeah.
So I think people could really learn and they can kind of look, at what we're doing, and we're hoping that we can help other people in that sense.
So I understand. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Um, yeah, this it's really important.
hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, however, I'm just also curious.
Hmm.
If you're to say like any last words of like
Mhm.
advice or anything you want to say to kind of wrap your whole uh wrap this kind of whole episode up, what
Right.
kind of things would you like to tell the
Help. Mhm.
listeners? What would you like to say
Yeah,
to
right. People. Well, like, I would advise them to, identify and nurture their talents.
yeah,
Like I say, they have to find out what they're good at, what their talent is, and their interests also. And it's important to focus on developing their strengths also,
right,
right? Yes. So, and building confidence is also really important,
right,
right? Because, they have, I'm sure a lot of people, and like we know, you and I both know that, being a bipolar patient can be a very, difficult and a lot of hardships. But also, on the other hand, we do have a lot of talents and we're good. And we're actually pretty smart and intelligent people. We can say that proudly, truly, right? So I think when they are facing their hardships, and also when they go through like depression or manic state, I know it's hard. And, after coming out of hospital, they're going to say, oh gosh, why am I, what am I doing? And a lot of things. But I want to tell them and tell us,
right,
actually, this is not the end of the world. And there are so many things that you
right,
are good at and that you can be of. And also you can help other people like we do, right? So, like I say, you have to find out what you're good at, what your interest is. And also you have to tell yourself, you have to be confident. And
mm,
you are not the only one out there. So we can
mm,
always help each other,
right,
right? So I would say try to find out what you want to do and what you're good at and try to mix it up. And, we're still young and you don't have to, there are a lot of people who can help you,
right,
So I think that can be a positive effect, and they
right.
should be really confident and be positive,
I see.
I say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree to your
Mm.
points. Um, what I would like to say to wrap this up would be
Hmm.
I would say hope for the best and also
Yes.
prepare for the worst. Hope for the
Good.
best and try to aspire to be do certain things, become certain type of person, and pursue like certain things that you're like you said you're interested in and you're good at, and you just continue
Hmm.
to do so and have yeah high standards for yourself to a certain extent, but also
Right.
at the same time you have to prepare for the worst and
Hmm.
prepare that it might not happen the way you want it to happen, but by preparing for the worst, you can be able to have more perseverance and not be too affected by the things like failure. And when you fail, you turn it more into feedback. And
Right.
preparing for the worst is like, yeah, so you don't get so discouraged as well. That's
Right.
why you
I
prepare for
think
the
it's a
worst
good point.
beforehand. So whenever you pursue those, whatever you're trying to pursue, I really recommend to try that advice out. Hope for the best and
Hmm.
prepare for the worst. Anyways, I think we'll wrap up this bipolar careers episode. In this way by
Hmm.
remembering what Kara Kim also said by remembering how we should really identify what we are good at, what we are passionate about, and just continue to
Hmm.
pursue that while also, uh, hoping for the best and preparing for the worst at the same time. So,
Yes.
eh, yeah, we'll just wrap up our episode here.
Hmm.
And thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's a
Hmm.
bit long, but I really hope it was very informative for all of you guys,
Yes.
and that we can just continue to discuss together as if you guys are here with us, and we hope for the best for all of you. Yeah,
Right. And don't forget, subscribe,
and like please. Take
like,
care.
alarm.
Bye.